All right, so VR and AR gaming is about to get absolutely ridiculous. And I need to talk about this because the numbers coming out are genuinely unbelievable. We're talking about a market that's projected to hit $85 billion by 2030. $85 billion. That's more than the GDP of some countries. And it's all from people strapping screens to their faces to punch virtual robots or whatever. The current state of VR gaming is sitting at about $35 billion in 2025, which is already massive, but the growth rate is what's really wild here. We're looking at a compound annual growth rate of over 22%. For context, that's faster than almost any other gaming sector right now. The traditional console market is basically crawling compared to this. And it's not just the money that's exploding. The actual user base is growing at an absurd rate too. Right now we're looking at around 216 million AR and VR users globally. That's more than the entire population of Brazil. These aren't just tech enthusiasts anymore. This is hitting mainstream adoption in a way nobody really predicted 5 years ago. Let me break down why this is happening, because it's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm of technology actually getting good, prices becoming reasonable, and content finally being worth the investment. For the longest time, VR was this gimmick where you pay $600 for a headset to play like 3 decent games. That era's over. The hardware has gotten legitimately impressive. We're talking high-resolution displays that don't give you instant motion sickness, tracking systems that actually work, and haptic feedback that's gone from "this controller is vibrating, I guess," to "I can feel textures and resistance." Eye tracking technology is now standard in higher-end headsets, which means the device knows exactly where you're looking and can render that part in high detail while keeping everything else less intensive. It's smart, and it makes the whole experience way smoother. Mixed reality is where things get really interesting though. This isn't just VR where you're completely cut off from the real world. Mixed reality is blending digital elements into your actual environment in real time. Imagine playing a strategy game where units are moving around on your actual kitchen table, or a horror game where something is crawling up your real wall. The technology adapts to your physical space and uses it as part of the gameplay. That's not future tech anymore. That's happening right now. The accessibility factor has changed everything too. Cloud gaming integration means you don't necessarily need a $5,000 gaming PC to run high-end VR experiences. Services are offloading the processing to remote servers, and you're basically just streaming the result to your headset. This is opening up the market to people who would never have considered VR before because the barrier to entry was just too high. Now here's something that caught me off guard. 72% of VR headset owners say gaming is their primary use case. That's wild because there was this whole push to make VR this productivity and social tool, but nope, people just want to play games. Shocking absolutely nobody. Turns out when you give people immersive technology, they want to shoot things and explore virtual worlds. Revolutionary. If you're enjoying this breakdown and want to stay updated on gaming industry trends and technology analysis, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Seriously, the stuff happening in VR development right now is moving so fast that by next month, we'll probably have full haptic suits or something equally ridiculous. The types of games being developed now are on a completely different level too. We're past the era of glorified tech demos. Full-length RPGs, competitive multiplayer shooters, rhythm games that are genuinely addictive, horror experiences that are borderline too effective. The game library has gone from "here's 5 things worth playing" to "there's too much good content to keep up with." AI integration is making NPCs actually intelligent for once. Instead of enemies following the same 3 patterns every single time, they're adapting to how you play. Each session feels different because the AI is learning and responding. It's making single-player games have this replayability that usually only competitive multiplayer has. The revenue projections are bonkers too. Video games are expected to generate over $11 billion in the AR market alone by 2025. That's just augmented reality, not even counting full VR. And creative industries like gaming, live events, and entertainment are expected to make up half of the entire VR market this year. Half! This isn't a niche hobby anymore. This is a legitimate sector of the entertainment industry. What's really pushing this growth is that 6 Degrees of Freedom headsets are projected to hit 46 million active installs by 2025. For anyone who doesn't know, 6 Degrees of Freedom means the headset tracks your full movement in 3-dimensional space, not just where you're looking. You can duck, lean, walk around, and the game responds to all of it. It's the difference between watching a movie and being in the movie. The social aspect is developing in unexpected ways too. VR spaces where people hang out, watch content together, or just exist in virtual environments are becoming genuinely popular. It's not replacing real social interaction, but it's filling a niche for people who want to connect with others across the world in a more immersive way than just voice chat. Game developers are treating VR as a primary platform now instead of an afterthought. Major studios are dedicating entire teams to VR development. We're seeing AAA budgets going into VR titles. That's a huge shift from a few years ago when VR versions were basically just ports with head tracking tech on. The business model for VR gaming is interesting too. Free-to-play is making its way into the space, which is both good and concerning. Good because it lowers the barrier for trying games, concerning because we all know how aggressive monetization can get. But right now the market is still figuring itself out, so most VR games are still premium purchases. Technical innovations are happening faster than anyone can keep up with. Real-time ray tracing in VR is becoming standard, which makes lighting and reflections look photorealistic. Foveated rendering, where the headset only renders in high quality where your eye is actually focused, is making performance way better. Wireless headsets with no noticeable latency are now the norm instead of the exception. The industry analysts are predicting this market could hit $200 billion by 2030 when you combine AR and VR together. That's a market bigger than current console gaming. That's a complete shift in how people consume interactive entertainment. And the wildest part is that all these predictions keep getting revised upward because the actual growth is exceeding expectations. So what does this mean for the average person? VR is going from expensive toy for enthusiasts to legitimate way to play games faster than anyone predicted. The technology is finally delivering on the promises that were made 10 years ago. The content library is robust, the hardware is comfortable and functional, the price points are becoming reasonable. Is VR going to completely replace traditional gaming? Absolutely not, but it's carving out its own massive space in the industry, and that space is growing at a rate that's genuinely impressive. Whether you're into it or not, this is reshaping what gaming looks like going forward. The fact that we're seeing this level of investment and growth means this isn't a fad that's going to die out. Companies don't throw billions of dollars at something unless they're confident it's going to stick around. The infrastructure being built, the content being developed, the technology being refined, this is all pointing toward VR and AR being permanent fixtures in gaming. So yeah, VR and AR gaming is kind of taking over. The numbers are absolutely massive. And if you haven't tried modern VR yet, you're missing out on some genuinely incredible experiences. The feature is already here. It's just wearing a headset. That's about it. See ya.